TGCRequiem here. We are back with 5-color human. We're going to be on the play. So no 1-drop, but otherwise the hand seems decent. I guess it's not very aggressive. Card advantage is good in several matchups, though. I don't know. I feel like this seems like a decent, an okay hand. Maybe it's a little weak, but being on the play, we should be good with Dark Confidant. Value's Lieutenant. Obviously, probably don't want to cast. And maybe I should have played the Horizon Canopy first there, actually. Alright, so it looks like maybe we're playing Burn here. Burning Inquiry. Got some jank waste knot deck on. Oh, Hello One. Okay. So suddenly our hand looks like we would have been better at his last turn. I think we go with Unclaimed Territory here. And the Hierarch. I mean, we played Lieutenant next turn. It makes our Hierarch bigger. Obviously, there's no value in casting the Lieutenant now, except that the next turn it's going to become a 3/3. Of course, we could also then potentially next turn go Hierarch Lieutenant. Whereas if we play the Hierarch now, we can probably go Fighter. Having not played very much against these Hollow One decks, I'm not really certain. I'm trying to think of like the power of their creatures on board. Obviously, they have Hollow One. They're probably running a lot of 2/2. They're probably running like the Bloodghast 2/1s. We're just gonna run out the Hierarch for now. Or we've gotten a little lucky that the cards they've discarded are Hollow One. So the cards they don't want in the graveyard. Well, I think we maybe just go Value's Lieutenant now. So if we go Mantis Rider, that is a pretty strong defensive play. Also, we've clearly seen they do have lightning bolts. And if we can go Thalia's Lieutenant twice on the following turn, that's even stronger. So I think we actually are just going to do this. We're going to go Mantis Rider. Get in for 4, but then potentially have a blocker against like a Bloodghast or whatever I might do. And then if we do get to untap and go Thalia's Lieutenant, that's pretty massive. Again, I'm not sure how much spot removal these decks run. I mean, we've seen Lightning Bolt, but you're discarding your hand a lot. I'm not sure if you're running a lot of fatal pushes or, you know, you obviously could run some. Name of the card is escaping me now. Like the 5 CMC Delve, destroy target creature. Actually, the Aether Vial is pretty decent here as well. Could go Reflector Mage. I almost think maybe we want a Reflector Mage now. I cannot recast the Gurmag Angler. We could go Reflector Mage and Thales Lieutenant, or we could go Vial. I would rather play the Reflector Mage the next turn. We're definitely ahead of our opponent here. A little bit of a bummer. We could now Reflector Mage the Angler, but I still think we're kind of in a better shape to do that the next turn. I'm not terribly concerned with racing the Angler here. Flame Lake Phoenix. They can pay 1 when they attack to bring it back from the graveyard attacking. Actually, so it can't be, it doesn't attack that turn, so they can pay for it now. They have to be in combat, so then they can attack with it. Do not attack with the Angler, which is going to be a bit of a punishment here. Getting no value out of that. What do you Meddling Mage here? Burning Inquiry? Faithless Looting probably. They can cast 2 from the graveyard still. You could try and name something like Lightning Bolt. And I think our clock is strong enough that we're not too concerned about that. Creatures are also going to be getting big enough here that clearly our opponent is looking to Faithless Looting's all they had in hand anyway, so they just scooped to that, which is interesting considering they were at 11. But yeah, okay. Don't know that I scooped in that situation. Alright, we are at So cleanly, we want Gravedigger's Cage here. They did have at least the one creature that comes in from the sideboard, or comes in from the graveyard rather. They probably run Bloodghast as well, I would presume. We want Anafenza the Foremost. We really could consider Dismember. Mirran Crusaders probably. Well, so the tough thing with Mirran Crusader is the opponent definitely has red removal, so I'm not sure that it's actually all that great there. Scythian, is it Static Caster? We looked at the Flameblade Adept. Let me just pull that up real quick. I wonder if Flameblade Adept is a 1 toughness creature, because if it is it Static Caster might be okay if they're also running like Bloodghasts. Probably not that strong though. Again, we are running against a deck that is, well, no, they run a lot of non-creature spells to turn things on, and we are bringing in more non-creature spells ourselves. I think we definitely want to pull one Thalia here. Kite Sail's fine, Meddling Mage is fine, Reflector Mage is fine. Kind of feeling like really this is what we want to do. The only other question I have is whether or not we want to cut a Dark Confidant over one of these cards. Again, Dismember could be key removal if the matchup goes just so. Flameblade's a 1/2 with discard prowess. Yeah, I think they're likely going to have more removal, which makes Dark Confidant still pretty decent. We're just going to submit this. Oh man, we ran that really close. I didn't even realize how close we were to running out of time. Over here yapping and yapping. So unfortunately this is just way too slow. We're going to have to mulligan, especially on the draw. And that is just atrocious as well. We're probably just going to get run over this game, and there's not a whole lot we can do about it. Cannot cast Vial. That's still a decent 1/2 start though. I'm fine with leaving that on top. We draw a different... Guess not. I say maybe we could play the champion a bit later. It does give us something to do with our Vial the next turn. The Flameblade is going to be at least a 3/4 here. Put some pressure on us. Push. One. That is an explosive start. They'll be attacking us for at least 5 next turn, probably more. Yeah, I definitely think we're probably looking at a when they have blood moons. Well, interesting. I think we have to play the Thalia's Lieutenant. Our only real shot here is to get a bunch of creatures bigger than theirs. Um, but we are pinched on mana for sure here. So, we do have the potential of maybe blocking the Flame Blade Adept if they don't have like another Faithless Looting. Seems unlikely, but we're most likely just letting them attack through with whatever they have this turn. And then ideally, we're going to be able to play Champion Meddling Mage next turn. So we now can cast Aether Vial, though. We weren't able to cast Aether Vial before. Beyond that, we basically need the really tough thing here is with Cavern of Souls. I mean, there's nothing we're doing to get rid of the Blood Moon, so we're just going to cast the Cavern. So that's actually not the way this is. Oh no. I didn't think this is the way it was supposed to work now. Enters as a mountain. That's not actually how this is. I think we're just going to hold the champion back again to buy us a little more time. One more clean attack in with the hollow one. Oh yeah, we can't block it, I gotcha. Flame Blade Adept has Menace. Again, the mulligan to 5 here is going to be a bit punishing. And we will play this champion in on their turn. Catch them off guard a little bit. Faithless Looting out of the graveyard. We're just going to concede. Nothing we can do now. Opponent has Faithless Looting to finish us off the next turn, so that was brutal. Opponent had a hot start, and we did not really execute on our game plan at all. So Blood Moon is definitely something we could consider meddling maging. In looking at the creature selection, they're colorless, red, and then they do have the Gurmag Anglers. So Mirror Crusader doesn't seem that great. Definitely Reflector Mage seems better. I do think we could consider bringing in Dismembers, though. Which makes me feel like, again, we might want to cut some of these Thalias. Valley is not really a great blocker either. I mean, it does slow them down if we get it down early. 2 seems fine to me based on what we've seen. Not too many 3s though. Trying to decide if it's worth cutting like a Reflector Mage or a Mantis Rider. Also possible the Zathrid Necromancer is worth bringing in, but based on the 2 games, it didn't look like there was much block. And one player or the other definitely had the advantage and basically pressed it the entire game. So this is a little aggressive. Being able to Horizon Canopy and Noble Hierarch, if we get to turn 2 like a Kite Sail or Meddling Mage, that's pretty strong. It is tough if we don't draw another land, as we cannot cast the Freebooters. Being on the play, I feel like we could almost chance this. I really wish these were different colors. Cannot imagine our opponent's going to spend their first turn lightning bolting our Noble Hierarch. If they have anything like Faithless Looting or Burning Inquiry in hand. I think we're actually going to keep this, and if they run Burning Inquiry, you know, that might just fix our draw anyway. Push. Ugh. Stand corrected. We're getting punished now. Looks like they were about to go a different route and change their mind. We drew a Grafdigger's Cage. We are in real trouble now if we don't draw a land ASAP. So Grafdigger's Cage is good. Shuts down their Faithless Lootings and any of their recursion rather from the graveyard. Can't recast Faithless Looting. Looks like they're setting up for another Blood Moon. Goodness. The question I have here is whether or not it's more appropriate to freeboot and try and take a Blood Moon from them, or Meddling Mage. I think the freeboot makes more sense, because if they spend a removal spell, then we can Meddling Mage to protect it next. So I think we actually are going to run Freebooter out first. Engineered Explosives, Lightning Bolt, Faithless Looting. Faithless Looting, Hollow One. If they spend the turn killing the Freebooter to get the Faithless Looting back, we actually take the Faithless Looting here, try and get them to burn their bolt. open, we see an engineer explosives on 1. Awesome. And then we hope that they lightning bolt the freebooter to get their faithless booting back. And then we can meddling mage. Alright, so we can actually meddling mage naming lightning bolt now. And then meddling mage naming blood moon later. Or we can kite sail freebooter to take their lightning bolt. Already used a fatal push. I think we're just gonna run out the meddling mage. They lightning bolt in response, that's fine. Then we are going to name probably hollow one here. Or do we name the faithless? I think we actually just name faithless looting. We can name hollow one on the next turn. They can't cast it unless they draw another faithless looting. Thalia is very strong here. I actually think we go Thalia. That puts us off Blood Moon well. Also protects us against the Bloodghast. Fatal push, Bloodghast. Alright, that's fine. So if they spend their whole turn fatal pushing us, I think, do we go meddling mage? Other fatal push? Mug Angler. So we could Phantasmal Image. No, we can't Phantasmal Image right now. Not without a different land drop. Dismember's a good draw. Yeah, if we could Phantasmal Image that Gurmag Angler first, that'd have been pretty solid. Unfortunately, we're getting into a spot where we're going to have to start chumping this Bloodghast with Lightning Bolt. Thalia would have been really good in that spot. It had stuck. The best thing we could possibly get here is really just a land. Still just dead to a lightning bolt. Thought we were going to turn that around there for a minute. Definitely punished for the aggressive keep. Probably should have mulliganed. I just didn't expect the opponent to be going so hard at removal right off the bat. And maybe if it was just a different land, it wouldn't have been so... You know, it's possible the Horizon Canopy was kind of a giveaway that we were weak in mana. We are going to see at least Faithless Looting Hollow One this turn, but we should be able to... At least Phantasmal Image the Hollow One. Right, Bloodghast comes back, and then that's going to be a lethal attack. So, unfortunately, we didn't get there. I'm sure inexperience played a bit of a part. If there's any big plays or you know, really key plays that I missed beyond the ones I've obviously already talked about, please mention in the comment. Again, this channel is primarily focused on exploring the decks of Modern, so I haven't played this deck a lot, and clearly I've made some mistakes, but hopefully you can help others learn about the deck and myself as well, because I will play more of it as time goes on. Hopefully you enjoyed and you have a good one.